I'm pretty confident that we all remember the beginning of 2020. Oh, the beginning of 2020. You know, when you turn a blind eye on this whole global pandemic that was taking all over the world, it wasn't all that bad. Yeah, I'm just joking. We all remember how catastrophically wrong everything was. Schools and workplaces closing and going online, people all around risking their lives, panic spread among people, that constantly was getting raised, heated by fear-inducing media reports. It was horrible, when on one day you're attending school like usual, and on the next you're forced to sit at home and just stare through your room's window at the world outside slowly going insane. Thankfully, now it's all getting better and better as we progress through 2021. We finally have a vaccine, everything is starting to open up, and overall, as society, we are more educated and aware than ever. Quarantine in my country begun around mid-March, so by the time this video will be up, it's going to be around full anniversary. First year of our 2-week quarantine. Hey? I want to take you on a ride and tell you a story about how I've survived quarantine with Minecraft. Or, maybe not one singular story, rather a few loosely connected. We'll see. So, let's get to it. When I think about my quarantine, I first think about Minecraft. And, to be exact, our first online lesson we've ever had, only a few days after we were initially sent to homes. It was really weird. I remember placing some blocks and generally building this island that you can see on background footage, while our class teacher was trying to understand Zoom and how to properly call us. It, of course, took her a while, but after that, she started speaking to us like she was standing at the edge of the world and watching it all burn under fires that came straight from the deepest pits of hell. And I'm not even joking, I still have this voice in my head, that tone soaked with fear and resignation, in which she was telling us that this 2-week quarantine will, for sure, take much longer. It was the first moment when I got genuinely scared, to be honest. Before that, I was just happy being able to play Minecraft all day, and while immersing myself to it, just completely forget about all this horrible stuff that was happening around us. Yeah, I'll never forget that, our teacher unsuccessfully trying to calm us down, while I was just building and just not minding about stuff. I think that it was, for me, the turning point, after which quarantine became much more sinister and scary. I think that a lot of you may relate to that. For some context, before any online lessons, or, maybe even before this whole quarantine begun, I wasn't in the best mental shape, to be honest. Of course, I'm not going to complain about it here because it's all private stuff, but just to summarize, at this time I wasn't feeling the best with people. You know, I had to go to school every day and by consequence meet all my classmates and teachers. Among them, I had a few friends, but we weren't as close as we are now. I would just spend whole breaks between lessons just mindlessly scrolling through my phone with earphones on, actively ignoring all human interactions I possibly could. It went on for weeks, and with each new passing day I was feeling just progressively more tired and exhausted. So, as you can guess, that initial quarantine for me was the perfect thing that happened on the perfect time. I still remember that lesson in which a teacher with slight resignation announced us that we're going on a 2-week break. I finally could be alone with my thoughts and just don't worry about all these people around me. Of course, the first thing that I've done after returning from school to my home was booting up Minecraft. And as I was, back then, just staring at this beautiful, square world, I didn't know that this was the last lesson that I will attend in a long time. As days passed, the world fortunately wasn't in a state as bad as our teacher predicted and told us about. We were all slowly adapting to this new reality and trying to figure out how to stay sane while being locked in this tiny prison consisting only of 4 walls. For me, this thing that helped me survive was, of course, Minecraft. I was doing almost everything in there, starting with listening to lessons and ending on just chatting with friends. Minecraft became kind of a second life for me. I couldn't go outside, but I could spend all this time staring at my screen, becoming almost one with my in-game character. It may seem surreal for you, but for me, it was genuinely true back then. The world was sick and so was I. After getting up from my desk and closing the laptop for the day, my mind was still stuck in this blocky way of thinking. I still remember trying to craft myself something to eat or checking if I had armor on me. It was of course short and haven't lasted for more than a few seconds, but it was real. Minecraft became to me something like a second, virtual reality, but instead of putting on my head expensive and complex headset, I was just pressing buttons on my keyboard. And I'm super thankful for that. If not for this game, I don't know how I would survive this hard time. It of course probably sounds like a bullshit for people that had to deal with pandemia more directly, but you need to remember that everyone had been having their own hardships and their own ways to deal with them, so you need to respect that. And one more important thing is that this game gave me some goals and objectives that truly mattered to me in times when goals and objectives were really blurry and almost non-existing. Of course, we had school, but it was organized terribly. If the teacher even had the possibility to conduct one, lessons were really chaotic, short, and from the technical side almost destined to failure. We had a little homework to complete, but it was effortless to just rewrite our works from one another, and because of that it was all meaningless. But Minecraft, of course supported by my imagination, gave me many things to work on, a lot of projects to complete and grinding to make. In normal times it would be really dull and boring, but in quarantine it felt different, it felt important and significant. Like I was moving slowly, step by step, block by block, while the whole world was just standing completely still. And I think that this is the key, this is something that truly made me survive quarantine. That feeling of moving forward, when world around you was just laying on its back and squealing. All of this background footage is taken from the one and only offline, survival world that I've been playing on all that time. I could, of course, tell you tiny stories of each individual building, but I've decided that it would make much more sense for me to just write one, consistent story and the details left in the background. I hope that you've enjoyed your time here, and maybe related to a thing or two. World save will be of course available in the description if you'd like to see it for yourself, and yeah, that's it. See you soon on another video. This time maybe on a little different topic.